Welcome back to JenTalks, everybody. And if you're joining me today at almost 3 o'clock, you're very welcome. And if you're also just joining this call or this talk at a later stage, maybe through my YouTube channel or through social media, you're also very welcome. So I started out today thinking I was going to talk about something completely different. And then I was reminded of a gorgeous little phrase. And it's just really simple when I was working with a group this morning. And I said, you know what? I'm going to share that. I haven't really mentioned that phrase in a long time. And I found it really useful when I was kind of trying to focus on solutions and focus on moving forward as opposed to getting stuck in the past. So here we go. As it says in the title of the talk, from now on. So what we mean by that is what happens to us often as we're going through life and we hit a few bumps in the road and we look back and we think, oh, I could have handled that differently, or whatever it is, we might fail at something, we mightn't do something to the best of our ability, and we take out a big, huge baseball bat and we start to beat ourselves up over it. And realistically, when you think about it logically, there is no going back in time. There's no way you can redo that moment. You can't relive it. You can't have it back, no matter how much you want to and how much you think about it. So the only moment you have is the present moment. And then what you plan to do in the future. In the present moment, you can decide what might be helpful in the future. So when we use something like, say, for example, yesterday I lost my keys and I was like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. And I was like, okay, from now on, and that's exactly what I said to myself, I'm not going to carry them on my hand because obviously I'm going to put them down somewhere. I'm going to put them in my back pocket, even if it makes the back of my jeans look all lumpy, or I'm going to bring a handbag and throw my car keys into a handbag. And dwelling on the oh my God, how did that happen? Why did I do that? And just drains our energy away from us and destroys us from, or I suppose prevents us from thinking about solutions and what we can do differently instead. And sometimes that works even if we don't even really believe that we're going to do things differently. We're convincing our mind in that moment, because in the moment that we go into that pain and that negativity and that stress, as you know, we're not actually in our thinking mind. We're in the amygdala mind. We're in the fight, flight, freeze response. We're in the stress response, also known as the sympathetic response. We're too much in feeling and not enough in thinking and feeling. So we need to come out of the feeling mode and go into thinking mode, so we can think straight. We can think about what we need to do next. So instead of staying on the kind of hamster wheel of like, oh my God, how did that happen? I can't believe that happened. Why did I do that? And beating ourselves up, we need to move into the present moment, which taking a breath in that moment, it was really powerful to just ground you. Using your five senses. What can I see? What can I smell? What can I taste? What can I touch? What can I hear? Is another really powerful moment. Unfortunately, when we're in those moments, we very rarely remember the tools. That was my last Gen talk that I spoke about that. Even if you just notice how you're breathing, because when you get a fright, you start to breathe quite shallow, like, and you're just like, calm down, put it in perspective. Nobody died. And what can I do what action can I take to resolve the issue? So, what plan of action can I do to find my keys, or whatever the disaster might be? I mean, losing keys is a tiny disaster in the grand scheme of things. There's a lot more bigger disaster in people's lives. I'm just using that as an example because it's something pretty recent for me. And then you say, instead of kind of, what happens is, even when the problem has been overcome, like for example, you find your keys, then what happens is you start going, oh, I can't believe I've done that. And this is that to happen. That's that to happen. So the mantra of from now on is really simple because it's three little words. So it's easy to remember. Think of that song, three little words. We're going to change into three little words on my doorstep. So from now on is what you're going to do differently the next time. Because it's like when somebody says sorry to you, but they say sorry and they just keep repeating their action. It's the same for yourself. If you're planning, carrying your keys around and putting them down when you're in shops, of course you're going to lose them again. So you need to tell your mind so that it'll believe you and it'll, I suppose, comfort it that it's not going to happen again. So I hope that's a useful tip for you today. I mean, there's so much we were coining the phrase COVID loco going on at the moment. There's a lot of brain fog, there's a lot of memory loss, and it's really to do with everything that we're going through and the unknown. So don't be hard on yourself if you're making mistakes. Try and bring a bit of compassion or kindness to yourself. Where is the kindness in that? Now, the gorgeous Joanne Faulkner is going to be talking about brain fog, increasing your memory, really kind of working on reducing stress and being more in the present moment. And I'll be working alongside her for her monthly talk on the 18th of August online in the evening time. So if you're interested in finding out more of that, that's on the Joanne Faulkner page. I'll also be sharing it on my page as well. And I will be talking at my own wellbeing network, which is on the 4th of August, which is just literally around the corner. It's only like a couple of days away, a few days away now. And again, tickets can be bought on Facebook. They can be bought through my website. It starts at 7. It's on until 30:30. I speak for an hour, and then I give half an hour for questions and answers, because there's always kind of individual, I suppose, queries that different people have. And the topic that I have is mental fitness for Wednesday. But this topic I have spoken about before on a couple of occasions. So I'm not really going to go that much into the content of like the theory about what it is and why it is. I'm going straight into practical tools and tips. So if you want some really useful, simple, scientifically proven free tools to help with your mental fitness and strengthen your kind of positivity muscle and your reaction versus action mode, then join me next Wednesday at 7 o'clock and come along to just learn some simple tools that you can use for yourself or even on others. Last but not least, Foundations for Life project that myself and Sue run together as a co-project. We work particularly with adolescents, our parents or carers of adolescents. We will be running an amazing workshop for parents or carers of adolescents, particularly, I suppose, affected by the impact of COVID, the COVID-19 lockdown, and really the kind of global stress and anxiety that we're going through at the moment. That's a 4-hour workshop. And it's on the 25th of September. It's heading in either North Dublin or kind of South Meath. So we'll keep your eyes and ears opened for the information on that fantastic workshop. And, feel free to comment underneath. If, you're watching this at a later stage, and obviously I'm not going to be live then, don't be afraid to directly message me. My email address is on my website. Always get back to people that send me an inquiry, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And likewise, if you notice that this tool works for you, do share, because people kind of listen to talk sometimes and think, could it really be that simple? And absolutely it can. And like every single tool that I ever teach on here, of course it's simple. Like everything's easy when you know how, but it doesn't mean that it's easy from the point of view of like you can just pull it out of the bag every single moment. Sometimes these tools work when you're really in a good space and you're topped up and you're looking after yourself. And sometimes it's just a moment that all the tools in the world won't work. So understand that and be kind to yourself, that there's sometimes we just get caught off guard, or we're a little bit overwhelmed, and none of the tools are really doing what they're meant to do, or we're even not even able to remember the tools or to reach for them. So I'm always on the other end of a message or an email, and I really hope you're doing well, guys, because it is tricky times that we're in right now, and I hope that the JenTalks series help people. When I get a little bit less busy for work, what I'm going to try and do is schedule a particular time, and I'd certainly be doing that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, where I'm on live, but then I'm going to stay on live for questions and answers, but I'll be advertising that, so you'll have plenty of notice. So have a fabulous weekend. I know we have a bank holiday weekend in Ireland, and I look forward to seeing you all here back on JenTalks next week. So if you like the talk, please spread the word, and if there's anything you think you would like to see done differently, please don't be afraid to let me know. Thank you. All feedback is welcome.